Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is ECW. We are here again, of course, for the show of the week as we always are. And it is, once again, a great time to be here on ECW. We are closer and closer now to the Royal Rumble. Closer and closer to ECW probably taking home the Royal Rumble, given the lineup that we have so far, which we will be finishing off here tonight, but closer and closer to that huge fatal four-way for the ECW Championship. You know it's going to be a big one, and you know you can't wait for it. Tonight, we will continue on with what we had last week. Samoa Joe wanted to challenge the winner of AJ Styles and Seth Rollins to a match, and surprise, surprise, he's going to go one-on-one with AJ Styles. Very surprising that Styles did in fact beat Rollins last week, but that is how it happened. However, there is one protocol that has to be looked out for, and that is Drew McIntyre. Gone on a bit of a loose cannon phase right now, for whatever reason, perhaps pissed off of being overlooked, I'm not too sure. But Seth Rollins wants to set the record straight. So here tonight, Seth Rollins is going to kick things off right now on ECW. Maybe he'll talk about last week's loss, maybe he'll gloss over it and focus on the Rumble. But one thing that Seth Rollins has certainly on his mind, and certainly that he wants to get out of his way and get out of his system, is discussing this problem with Drew McIntyre. Because it is a problem to the title, it's a problem to the Fatal 4-Way, and it's a problem to ECW especially. And any ECW problems, you know, they go through Seth Rollins, and they go through with a little bit of justice. So let's, before we get to that main event, before we even get to action here tonight, let's get down to the ring with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And here he comes, the ECW champion, probably not in high spirits after last week, but still the ECW champion no matter what. A week and a half away from having to defend that ECW championship in that Fatal 4-Way match where, of course, he doesn't even have to be pinned to lose that title. And it is that match that he has to worry about right now, because it is business that he has to take care of. It is Drew McIntyre who could potentially cause harm to more than one person. And Seth Rollins has got to be the one to deal with that. And Rollins is going to quickly talk about last week, saying that congratulations to AJ Styles. He beat him, wow, fair and square. He won't argue with it because these idiots in the crowd aren't worth his time. Seth Rollins has business to get to tonight, so he might as well get to it as quickly as possible. And that business is simple. There is a liability in the Fatal 4-Way. There is someone who could cause harm to the ECW roster, and it has to be settled here tonight. He has to take care of business, and he has to get him out here. Drew McIntyre, no more talking about you. Now he wants to talk directly to your face. And here he comes right away. Drew McIntyre. Oh, God. Gone out for the cameraman right away, Drew. This man has been off the deep end now for, I think, over these last kind of couple weeks, and last week certainly proved it. I mean, AJ Styles just picked up a non-title win over the ECW champion, and he was certainly celebrating it. And then Drew McIntyre came out and laid him out with a Claymore kick. McIntyre headed into ECW as a crowd favourite, almost a bit of sympathy towards him after James Storm kicked him to the curb as a part of the Revolution, sent him on his way here to ECW. But Drew McIntyre did his best to stand out. A guilty as charged, he got this shot against Rollins, but it has almost all fallen apart. And that is kind of what he's getting to as he starts things off here against Rollins, but telling him you don't have to worry about me, worry about yourself, worry about that title of yours, and worry about kissing it goodbye at the Royal Rumble to the man who stands in front of you right now. Drew McIntyre already with a boatload of confidence. But Seth Rollins slapping him back down to reality. He knows he doesn't stand a chance. He proved it 2 weeks ago when he lost to him in ECW. But what he's here to deal with tonight is his actions and his anger. If he wants to take it out on people, don't take it out behind their backs. Don't take it out after the match. Take it out in the match. And Drew McIntyre has said that his anger has got the best of him, and he knows it. He's lashed out, but how can he even take his anger out on someone in the match when every match he's in either doesn't last longer than a minute, or he isn't even in a match? Drew McIntyre is sick and tired of being overlooked in this title matchup. He's as big of a threat to this ECW championship as anyone else. And that's exactly what Seth Rollins is here to talk about. He is going to reward Drew McIntyre. You want to take your anger out in the ring? You want to beat up the people who are in this matchup with you? Then fine. Tonight, through my permission of course, you have been added to the main event. It's now a triple threat. And Rollins wants to make sure that he goes in there and lets all his anger out. Lash out on Styles and Joe. Give them what for and prove why McIntyre was always the #1 contender in everyone's hearts and minds, even Seth Rollins's. Prove to them that you deserve to be at the Royal Rumble. And while Drew McIntyre says he is glad to be in the main event, one thing he will not let is Seth Rollins tell him what to do. He knows what Rollins wants from him. He wants him to soften the competition. No, McIntyre. Rollins doesn't need softening of the competition. But Drew McIntyre, nonetheless, will beat into anyone in his way. And look at that to finish this one. A stare down between the two. McIntyre is now going to be in this main event later on tonight. A triple threat scheduled now. McIntyre, Styles, and Joe. And Drew McIntyre looks in the zone once again. Well, there we go. A back and forth between those two men to kick things off here. And I think it has settled some business for sure. Drew McIntyre has got what he wanted. He wanted to get his hands on people in that match, and he's got just what he wants. Tonight, Seth Rollins has the night off. Meanwhile, Joe, Styles, and McIntyre will tear each other apart in the main event. That one is certainly interesting, and I've got to be honest, it's great mind games from Seth Rollins. Make the other guys beat each other up, and he just gets to relax. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He doesn't have to panic. He can just sit back, relax, and watch his three challengers tear each other apart. It is business by Seth Rollins, and it is business that I think is going to play out, because all three of those men love getting their hands on the other. All three of those men want to beat the other up. And meanwhile, Seth Rollins just gets to watch from afar and just take notes. What more could you ask for? But anyway, we're going to start things off here with a 6-man tag. The final 3 spots in the Royal Rumble need to be decided, and this is how we're going to decide it. And I know you're looking at the Usos, and I know they had their shot to qualify for the Royal Rumble a few weeks ago. But I thought that was a bit unfair, given the fact that they were in singles matches, and given that one of them had to take on Braun Strowman of all people. So I decided to make it a little bit more fair for them this week. They're going to be in a 6-man tag, and the opponents and the person they were teaming with had been completely randomized. This is their completely randomized opponent in Drago. Drawn at random, and well, Drago would love to make a standpoint on ECW finally. He's really struggled since getting here, and he would like to finally put his foot in the door. And what better way to do than to go to the Royal Rumble? I can't think of a better way. So, with that being said, Drago joins the Usos here. They don't have to work with Drago. They don't have to, they just got to make sure that they're all on the same page and they all can get themselves to the Royal Rumble. But here come the opponents of the Usos. First one out already, showing that this ain't going to be an easy one. It's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Oh boy, this one's going to be a bit tough for him, isn't it? As Shawn Michaels heads towards the ring. Last time we saw him, he was getting choked out in the ring by Samoa Joe. But here tonight, he's all about business, and he's all about going to the Royal Rumble. I don't know, of course, who Michaels is teaming with, so this one should be very interesting indeed. Shawn Michaels, I believe, has been in the Royal Rumble before. If he hasn't, then that would be a really, really weird situation, but nevertheless, Shawn Michaels here going to look to try and get himself in the Royal Rumble. No, he hasn't won one, of course. And now he looks to get his year off to a great start. His tag team partner AJ Styles may well be in the main event, but Shawn Michaels is going to make sure that he isn't slacking, he isn't dwelling on that tag team title loss last month to the Authors of Pain. The Royal Rumble would be a great way to get right back on the way of things for that one. And here comes one of his tag team partners. Man alive, this is a team that really look like they're on their way to the Royal Rumble already. Because here is Baron Corbin now. Jesus. Last time we saw Corbin was in the main event of Guilty as Charged in that out-and-out brawl between himself and Seth Rollins. They tore the house down. They tore virtually everything down to try and become ECW champion. It was Rollins who was successful on the night, and Corbin who'll have to try again another day. And that day could be WrestleMania if he wins here tonight and goes on to win the Royal Rumble. ECW's field, we have gone all out to make sure that we are going to win this year. We have gone all out to make sure that no one can sneak under the radar and get a victory like Tyler Breeze did last year. We're going to make sure that no one on another brand can survive from number 1 all the way to the end, like Wade Barrett did 2 years ago. We are focused on victory here this year. There has been only one ECW Championship match that has main evented WrestleMania. And this year we make it 2. Seth Rollins, of all people, deserves to main event WrestleMania. And main event WrestleMania, I think he will. Who will close out this field? Oh, I'm sorry, Usos, but I don't think you're going to the Royal Rumble. The third man in this team, already comprised of 2 incredible athletes. Oh boy, here comes Tetsuya Naito. Naito, Michaels, and Corbin. Yep, I think I know who's going to the Royal Rumble. Sorry about that. Don't think it's the Usos and Drago. I even gave them a second chance to be nice, but it just ain't happening, is it? Here comes Naito towards the ring. Business on his mind. Victory on his mind. The Royal Rumble on his mind as well. We've seen all of Raw's picks revealed, and imagine if Tetsuya Naito could go in and go after every single person in that matchup. Naito, a man who always lets his wrestling do the talking, to be fair, but a very charismatic man in his own right. What would be interesting... Look at the Usos there in perfect synchronization. But what would be interesting is if Naito... I think Naito would be one of those... He's not, you know, he's not an underdog because his track record in New Japan speaks for itself. But what I'm saying is he is a... he is someone who you wouldn't classify as a favorite. You know, he's not the likes of Braun Strowman. He's not the likes of Triple H, Sting, Marty Scurll. He is, you know, he is someone who would be coming in off a 6-man tag, and he's someone who keeps himself to himself more often than not. So it'd be very interesting to see how he would be able to operate in the Royal Rumble. I'd look forward to seeing him in there, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Usos and Drago, but this just ain't going to be their night. Look at the trio that stands across the ring from them. Shawn Michaels, a 2-time tag team champion and a former world champion. Baron Corbin, a standout star in ECW, someone destined to have a great future in him. And Tetsuya Naito, one of New Japan's all-time greats, I would say, and is looking to stand out on ECW, and the Royal Rumble may be his place to do just that. Right now, though, Corbin tagged in. It's been a while since we've seen this man, and he's hungry to get back in action. Jey Uso there had to leap to tag in Drago, and he made the tag, and oh, Drago's, though, got into the ring and immediately got sent down to the mat for his troubles. Here goes Baron Corbin, over the shoulder powerbomb to Drago. Of course, this would finish the field, as I said. Whoever wins this one is going to finish the field for ECW and get our full 10 picks in there. Right now, my prediction is really holding up to value, as it doesn't look like it's going to be. The Usos and Drago, they are not having an easy time right now. Corbin out, Naito tagged in here, went for the step of Enziguri. Drago just a little too far away, but he continues on now. Naito moved out of the way there, and here he goes. Bit of a beatdown in store, maybe. Oh, Baron Corbin, you may want to move out of the way here. Corbin is going to move out of the way as Naito here looks to fly. Naito, suicide dive! Jesus! Naito flew through the air there, and Baron Corbin and Naito wasting little time in continuing the beating on the outside here for poor Drago. Was being left to the wrath of the wolves in the ring. Good counter there by by Drago. Naito laid out, but Baron Corbin going into business for himself a little bit. Drago counters him as well. He's taking it to both men right now. Rolling kick there, and Corbin goes down. And Drago now with the poison mist into the face of Tetsuya Naito. He could be in huge trouble here. No, Naito keeps calm and is able to find a way out, but he could well be blinded after that one. Drago is fighting for his team here and is having some right back and forth right now with Tetsuya Naito. Neither man able to nail a move on the other there. Reverse DDT though, and Drago goes down. Shawn Michaels is saying that he wants him to get back to work. Maybe he doesn't want back in this ring. Maybe he does want Naito to do everything. Snapdragon suplex there by Tetsuya Naito. Will it send his team to the Rumble? Not yet. It's just a kick out at 2. Oh, and Naito's in position. He's looking to end this one now. Naito. Destino. And that will end it. Into the cover. No, the Usos providing a distraction. Into the cover. Into count. There's 2. There's a kick out because the Usos were playing spoiler there. The distraction paid off for long enough and Drago got the kick out, but I don't know how much longer he'll be surviving here. Big hard punch there. Crawling to the turnbuckle. Trying to find Jey Uso, I believe. But no way was he getting his hands on him. Back in the corner he goes. Big elbow though by Drago, but it ain't going to get him anyway. Hard clothesline now. Drago, you might as well just stay down, mate. You ain't going to do yourself much favours by crawling around. Michaels goes up on his turnbuckle. Top rope elbow. He gets all of it. And there's only one move left to send his team to the Royal Rumble. Drago withstood 1. Don't think he'll withstand 2. Sweet chin music is countered. Drago is going alone here. Tag made. In comes Naito. What is running through Drago's mind right now? I would have thought this would have been over by now. The Usos haven't got a drip in this matchup in a long time. Drago crawling as the tag is made into Corbin right now. And he leaps. Jey Uso tagged in. Jimmy Uso still a little bit frustrated on the outside. He hasn't got an ounce in this matchup. And Corbin much the same as he did to Drago earlier, just when Jey Uso gets in the ring, pummeled down right away. And all the momentum is being seeped out of the Usos and Drago right now. There's a counter. Big spinning forearm there by Corbin. And he'll get another one for his troubles. Jey Uso now starting to unload. He gets all 3 off there. Able to pop off just a little bit, and it may give his team a simmer of hope. They were outmatched from the moment the bell rung, and they're demonstrating it right now. But Jey Uso continues to try and fight, but there's the deep 6. And here comes the follow-up as Drago slowly calls himself to his feet. He gets to witness the end of days. Into the cover we go. Naito jumped the gun too early according to the referee, and so the pin won't be made yet. Drago sent on his way. Jimmy Uso sent on his way. Cover on Jey, and it will be enough. Team Baron Corbin win. That is a terrible name for them. But it was almost set to happen. It was almost destino to happen. That was terrible, but still. It was almost destined to happen from the moment the bell rung. Corbin, Michaels and Naito on one team. They were going to destroy their way to the Royal Rumble, and that is just what they've done. Partners tonight, but foes a little over a week from now. The Royal Rumble will mean everything to these 3 men, and it's all about what numbers they get, which will get them where they want. Which is, of course, the main event of WrestleMania. And that is it. ECW's field is now complete for the Royal Rumble. We have Dean Ambrose, Sami Callihan, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Tetsuya Naito, Baron Corbin, Tommaso Ciampa, Sheamus, Rich Swann, and Braun Strowman to give us all 10. If we don't win this year, something has gone horribly wrong. With that being said, We're going to move on to our next contest. Neville last week said he was going to make an embarrassment out of a Hideo Itami a week before his title match against Austin Aries. Will he be able to do that? We'll find out, because that one's up next. Well, Neville promised to make an embarrassment out of Itami, and let's see if he'll stick to his words. Itami, of course, was abandoned 2 weeks ago in a tag team matchup by the Cruiserweight Champion, and did not seem best pleased about it, left to the wrath of Akira Tozawa and Austin Aries. Now here tonight, Itami looks for revenge against the Cruiserweight Champion, looks to set him off 1 week before his Cruiserweight Championship match against Austin Aries. Hideo Itami may not be respected by many, but if there is one thing that you do not do is disrespect Hideo Itami. But then again, this is a man who doesn't care about anything except himself and his title. Neville from behind on Itami. Big kick in the back, big double axe handle in the back there, but Itami got out of the way, trying to fight back. Not much going for him there. German suplex on the stage. And here goes Neville now, the king of the cruiserweights, doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants in his division. Beating into him right away there. Hideo Itami barely had a moment to catch his bearings before Neville made the jump on him. And look at this now. This is the man who has no respect for anyone in his division. This is the man who has flown the cruiserweight flag high now for some 6 months even. And all he does is this every single time. But he's a damn good cruiserweight at the same time. He is a damn good athlete at the same time. And there is no denying it. The feats he has overcome. Having to defeat essentially a 2-on-1 handicap. Having to defeat DIY in the same matchup in a triple threat. Being the only cruiserweight champion to defend his title in a 6-man ladder match. He has overcome anyone, everyone, and everything. Even Austin Aries before, but not in a one-on-one match. And that next week is what he'll have to endure. Austin Aries, one-on-one for that title. Big kick there by Itami now as he looks to try and fight back. Of course, a future chance of the Cruiserweight Championship could be on its way for Itami if he somehow finds a way to pick up a big win here tonight. But Neville seems destined to not let that one happen. Big snap suplex there. Neville now will just work apart Hideo Itami in his own way. If you look at the way Neville's been going about his business in this matchup, very little in the way of acrobatic maneuvers before that one. Hit him with a reverse hurricanrana, looking to offset him and looking to do damage to that neck before he locks this in. The rings of Saturn. The rings of Saturn applied. Moves over on it. And has got it locked in deep now on Itami. Looking to try and make him submit here. Itami, a man of honor and pride, but could be forced to his will to Neville. Will he tap out? Yes, he will. Itami was doomed from the start. Neville was destined to make an embarrassment out of him, and he got what he wanted here tonight. The Cruiserweight Champion lays out another talent. Austin Aries, next week, you better beware, because this man is the Cruiserweight Champion for a reason, and he stops at nothing to make sure that everyone realizes it, and everyone respects him. But the moment Neville turns his back, here's Aries, here's Aries! Here's Aries, who's completely missing the target right now. There we go. He's going after Neville a week before their title match. Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived, getting in the mind of Neville. And look at this German suplex now by Aries. Tried to crawl away there, did Neville, but no success. He is locked in the clutches of his challenger next week with nowhere to go. Austin Aries now looking for something big here. Tornado DDT to Neville. Every move that he hits is setting the Cruiserweight Championship up for this move. The move that could win him the title next week. The neck breaker. And he flips around into the last chancery. Neville's tapping. Neville tapped out to it. Austin Aries just got the Cruiserweight Champion to submit to him. Austin Aries, quick to say that Neville, you like to go around embarrassing people, you like to go around trying to make an embarrassment out of them, you like to go around trying to make them tap out. Well, how about next week for the Cruiserweight Championship? since he just made you tap out, we make it a submission match, just to prove who will give in. And Austin Aries can say that it won't be him. He has fought too hard and waited too long to end this. Next week, he ends Neville's tyranny reign atop the Cruiserweight division. He brings down the king of the Cruiserweights and he ushers in the era of greatness. Austin Aries is set with one thing in mind, to take that Cruiserweight Championship away from Neville. With a submission match now put in the air, and one that I say will be happening next week. Will he get what he wants? Will Neville be kissing goodbye to the Cruiserweight Championship? Well, let's get into this. Moving on, Austin Aries has sent the message now. It is on its way to its recipient. It has been given towards none other than Neville. He wants that submission match next week. Don't worry, he's gonna get it. But before we get to that Cruiserweight Championship match, before we even get to next week, we've got to take it, we've got to go slow. And coming up next, right now even, is a singles matchup involving Roderick, Strong of the Four Horsemen. Next week, of course, Strong and Apollo Crews will team up to challenge for the ECW Tag Team titles, look to take them away from the Authors of Pain. And to be fair, if you are the Four Horsemen right now, you're feeling pretty confident. And the reason is simple. They became #1 contenders by beating none other than the Wyatt family. No easy feat whatsoever. They did that, and they did it in a good, strong fashion as well. Last week, we then witnessed Apollo Crews beat Akam in one-on-one competition. And not only beat him, he had him up in the air, he had him up in a gorilla press at one point. He was showing incredible, out-of-this-world strength towards Akam. That man right there. Roderick Strong watched on the outside, but tonight, it'll be Roderick Strong in the ring for this one. After Apollo Crews' victory last week, Roderick Strong, I'm not going to lie, he's got it a little bit easier right now. Paul Ellering saying that his Authors of Pain are not competing in action here tonight. They're recuperating, they're recovering, and they're learning ahead of next week. So by that, the most obvious thing to take away from it, and I believe, is that he is scouting his competition. He is following the tapes of the Four Horsemen. He is studying Roddy and Crews, both individually and as a team. And he's going to look to overcome them next week and retain those tag team titles. Could be a very interesting matchup next week. It could be one that goes completely either way. We'll have to find out when we get there. But as for right now, Roddy has got to take care of business. And that business is Tony Nese. Two guys who are kind of around the same weight class, to be fair. Nese a cruiserweight. Roddy, I think, certainly could be a cruiserweight looking at him. Maybe under the 205 barrier. In all honesty, Nese definitely somehow is, despite being in incredible shape. Nese likes to say there are 8 reasons why he's better than everyone, and of course that is every one of his abs that he possesses. But he is taking on the Messiah of the backbreaker now. So his abs are not going to be too key. His back muscles are going to be what he's hoped he's worked on before this one. Roddy already off the big work here. 2 powerful backbreakers there to Nese, and Gregory Helms, surprise, surprise, getting involved very quickly in this one. Distracting Roddy Strong and trying to give his partner some room to work with. And Nese will capitalize with a big back suplex there. Let's see what else Nese will bring out in this one here, now that he has control. Beautiful spine buster, all things considered. Once again, Nese showing off his 8-pack and some great strength. Up on the second rope now goes Tony Nese. Roddy is very close to him if he wants to fly that little, essentially, and he will. Looks for the axe handle. Roddy got out of the way. Belly to belly. And once again, all geared and all centered on the back for whenever he looks to set up End of Heartache. Good counter, though, by Nese. Helms and Nese, of course, have been a team for a little while now, but they haven't found much success at all. Oh, a big win here tonight for Tony Nese could turn that around. Nese into a camel clutch now. Roddy apparently in the ropes, though I didn't really think it was a rope break. The referee says so. Dragon screw there to get Roddy back in this one. And Nese already looking a little bit staggered, a little bit dazed. And oh, what a knee there in the turnbuckle by Roddy. Follows it up with a back suplex. He is feeling it now. Look at him putting on a bit of a show there. That is certainly one interesting show indeed. Big Tiger Bomb there, and into the cover now goes Roddy okay. Apparently, and I really do not mean to fret over this matchup, but apparently there's some kind of emergency going on backstage. It's involving Bobby Roode. We gotta head back there right now. Oh god, we're backstage. Braun Strowman is putting it in to Bobby Roode, the ECW television champion, who's supposed to be in action up next. Who's supposed to be taking on Chris Jericho. And now he's just being destroyed by Braun Strowman ahead of his title matchup next week with Aleister Black. This is not the way to do things. This is disgusting to witness. Braun Strowman has the Wyatt family even. They have no values. They have no virtues whatsoever. They will decimate anyone just to get their point across. There is no need for this. This isn't needed. Bobby Roode has done nothing wrong to the Wyatt family except do his job. And the likes of Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt and Aleister Black just cannot stand for that. You can forget Roode being in action here tonight. We'll be lucky if we see him at the Royal Rumble the way that Braun Strowman is going about it here. Strowman, of course, is going to be in the Royal Rumble match itself. Roode, meanwhile, being thrown into pillar to post here. Everything that Braun Strowman can see, he is throwing his opponent into. Roode is trying to fight back here. Oh my god, what a nasty chop in the chest there. Come on, Braun. Just let him be, please. Roode is trying to fight back here. Roode won't back down from a challenge, but maybe sometimes he should. Maybe it would be safer if he did. The side dropping powerbomb now by Strowman. Oh god, I think I know what he wants to do next. Look at the way he just lugs Roode's almost unconscious body there across the concrete flooring. He's in position. Oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. No, Strowman let him go. Strowman let him go, and Roode has an opportunity to fight back here. Though that slipped away very, very easily. Oh, God. Oh, no, Braun has him. Braun's got Roode. Once more. No, please, Braun. Braun, don't do this. Don't do it. For anyone's sake. Braun Strowman with Bobby Roode up. Powerbombed him into the car. Braun Strowman just destroyed the ECW television champion. For Aleister Black's sake, for the Wyatt family's sake, this is taking things too far. We're back. Here's Roddy Strong. Hits the end of Heartache now to close out this matchup. I don't know what to express. Braun Strowman and the Wyatt family, they have no respect for anyone. They'll do anything to try and claim those any title as theirs. Cover here anyway by Roddy, and it's got the job done over Tony Nese. Victory for Roderick Strong there, but there are more pressing matters to attend to right now, like what's going on backstage. And while it may be a victory for the four horsemen, well, Roderick Strong anyway, a victory that they can celebrate before next week. Oh, come on! As if things didn't get any worse before. Now, we've got the Authors of Pain jumping their challengers a week before their title match. This is not needed. There's too much going on in ECW, and you're just adding to the problem right now. The Authors of Pain have laid out the horsemen. They've sent their message that they're going to write their final chapter next week. I guess it's that time on ECW now. Chaos has broken out. Hooray. Just what we needed at a time like this, heading into the Royal Rumble. Just what I'm craving. We've got an ECW television champion who's probably getting shards of glass picked out of his back right now. And we've got the #1 contenders to the ECW tag team titles being laid out from behind by tag team champions. It's all over the place. And we're not going to get much time to catch our breath, to be fair, because now it's time for this big-time main event between Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Drew McIntyre. What was supposed to be Styles and Joe was, of course, changed earlier tonight by by Seth Rollins, rather, should I say. And now we are here tonight for this one. I don't really know what, I don't know what to say right now. My mind is all over the place. There is so much going on that I need to think about, and I just don't know what to say in this situation right now. There is so much to talk about, and there's so little time to talk about it because we've got the main event up next. Once again, Bobby Roode denied a match as ECW Television Champion. But that isn't the worry. What is the worry right now is if he'll even make it to the Royal Rumble, given the state that he was in. Powerbombed onto a car windshield. Those things already are tough. But when Braun Strowman is powerbombing you through it, and you are probably going to win, and with all the cracked glass, how dangerous that is and how that could cause damage to Bobby Roode, I'm scared that he's going to be easy pickings for Aleister Black. What was supposed to be the be-all, end-all to this battle between these two men now doesn't look like it's gonna be that. I don't know what to say. We'll find out in a week and a half, I guess, but I don't think we're gonna be seeing Bobby Roode in action next week at all. Anyway, let's gloss over that and let's try and gloss over that. As for the Authors of Pain and the Four Horsemen, it kind of pales in comparison to what we just saw. So, I don't really have too much to add on that one. But right now, we have this main event in front of us. Styles, Joe, McIntyre. Drew McIntyre made sure to find a way to be added into this matchup, and well, he seems awfully happy to be here now, doesn't he? I imagine so. He said earlier tonight that Seth Rollins, even though Rollins wanted him in this match and Rollins wanted him to tear apart his opponents, he said he doesn't listen to him. He says no one tells Drew McIntyre what to do. He is coming here with a vengeance. He is coming here with an attitude, and it is to pick apart both men. Of course, he lost to Samoa Joe just a few days after becoming the #1 contender for the title at Guilty as Charged, and that kind of got the ball rolling down the hill for this entire thing. Drew lost to Joe. Joe beat Rollins. Joe ended up in the Royal Rumble match. Styles beat Joe. Styles ends up in the Royal Rumble match. Styles beats Rollins. AJ Styles could be said on paper to be the favorite, but Drew McIntyre made sure that by force he looked like the favorite, and he made it in a simple fashion, laying out Seth Rollins with the AJ Styles with a Claymore kick last week following Styles' win over Seth Rollins. Samoa Joe said he wanted to take on the winner of AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in tonight's main event last week. He got his wish, but they also got a bit of a spoiling party in Drew McIntyre. The reaction to McIntyre here is mixed, and there's little surprise because of it. He may well have told Seth Rollins basically go stick it earlier, much to the enjoyment of these people. Why, I don't know, because Seth Rollins is literally their savior, but you know, at the same time he went after AJ Styles and the crowd was not too happy with that, and Styles is trying to play it a little bit smart right now. He's outside of the ring, he's minding his own business for a second, and he's allowing the two power men to go at it. AJ Styles is a little bit outclassed, not outclassed, sorry, but out of his element when it comes to weight. Drew McIntyre up in the 250s. Joe, I think, is about 270, 280, and Styles is about 210, so 220 at a stretch. So he is definitely the lightest one here, but he is demonstrating his power right now to both men as he lays them out. And here goes AJ Styles now. Big time Irish whip. Samoa Joe doesn't go down, but oh, AJ Styles doesn't go down either. Irish whip here, and forearm shot to McIntyre. I don't think Joe intended it to hit McIntyre, but at the same time, I don't think he cares. All three of these men want a piece of each other. They've all got bad blood boiling with one another, and they want to settle it. That was a bad mistake there by AJ Styles, and he paid for it. To the outside you go for now. And as Styles recovers, we're going to get these two men going at it in the ring here. A rematch from a few weeks ago. Joe trying to recover on the outside there. And Drew McIntyre gave him his time, but he's only using it to get him right back into his ring there. Big vertical suplex, and oh my god, just muscled AJ Styles down there with that shoulder tackle. Drew McIntyre proving why he shouldn't be ignored by anyone. Because you think about it, the attention in this triple threat as of late, sorry, in this fatal four-way, wow, I even made the error there. In this fatal four-way has been Styles, Joe, and Rollins. McIntyre, the original #1 contender, has almost become a bit of an afterthought to everything. And that has enraged McIntyre. That has brought out the fury within him that we see here tonight. And we've seen, especially last week as well. But if you've got fury like that, you've got to be able to back it up in the ring. McIntyre's an incredible performer, but Styles and Joe are in their own rights, also out of this world. And they're going at it right now in the ring. Cross-arm breaker here by AJ Styles. I mean, he's trying to make Samoa Joe tap out. Yeah, best of luck with that one. Joe's the one who gets you tapping. Back in the ring we are here with these two men. Fireman's carry, neck breaker, and a snapmare follow-up there. Great double team on Samoa Joe, and Styles here. I thought he was going to look for the Styles Clash for a second. Gets a powerbomb. Incredible bridge, but McIntyre is in the ropes. Where's Styles going to go here? Is he going out to the apron? He is. He is going out to the apron. Samoa Joe trying to catch his bearings. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre might be catching one of these. Phenomenal forearm. He caught him there, but Joe's up to his feet. This won't end the match, and that's great. AJ Styles knew it wouldn't end this match. As opposed to making a pointless cover, he went to work. But what a counter there by Joe. Oh my god. Cornering Zaguri, and oh no, he's going for the cover on McIntyre here. With AJ Styles rolling out of the ring. McIntyre had plenty of time to kick out as early as he did there. This one continues on now in with Joe and McIntyre once more. Got a chin lock of some sort applied, and McIntyre uses his power to get out of it there. And went for the headbutt there to Joe, but you don't headbutt a Samoan. You should know that by now, and especially when Joe is going around reversing it like he just did there. Styles now set up, pump handle, none of it. Joe stuffed that one, and a snap suplex there will send McIntyre down. Cover here by Joe now, and after everything McIntyre's taken, it could have been enough. Good thing that he was able to kick out there. Once again, Joe and Styles staring each other down. Death Valley driver there. AJ Styles looked like he landed awkwardly on his leg, and you can see him just trying to find somewhere to go here. All out of sorts. Meanwhile, Samoa Joe looking to try and put the beating on him. God, what a hard knee there by Joe. This one continuing on here. No remorse being shown. Seth Rollins going to love how tough these guys are going on the other. They're going all out for victory here. Cornering Zaguri on its way. There it is on the money. And a big lariat from behind will give McIntyre some time with AJ Styles to pick up the pieces. Take a look at the strength there by McIntyre. Dumped him on his face, and Styles too rolls out of the ring. Oh my god, McIntyre up high, and he flew way too late there. Styles got back in the ring. Well, that may have got even more rage out of Drew McIntyre, but imagine with how hard these guys are going in on each other in this triple threat right now. This will pay major dividends come in the Royal Rumble. If someone gets a big bruise in this one, if someone even gets injured, Seth Rollins can pick up the pieces and run with it at the Rumble. Isolate them and look to win the title. But so can the other men. McIntyre went for the clothesline there. Joe moved out of the way. But it's somehow McIntyre who's able to immediately capitalize. And here it comes again. Locks the arms in, and a reverse Alabama slam. Down goes Joe face first. That looks so rough. Styles now. Big counter. Sunset flip on McIntyre for the victory here maybe. There's one. There's two. And oh, McIntyre kicked out at two. Great counter there once more by Styles. Came running at him and a big counter. That neck breaker there looking lovely. Styles now has him up. Fireman's carry. Neck breaker for McIntyre. And he jumps right into a cover. Joe on the other side of the ring. This could end it. No, it won't. God, these guys have gone all out on each other. We've seen a phenomenal forearm on McIntyre. We've seen the corner in Zaguri. AJ Styles now with him, with Joe up here and all brings him there. Fireman's carry, elbow drop of all things. Cover after it here. Can he put away Joe with it? He almost did. McIntyre still in the ring, but very unresponsive right now. AJ Styles is using all the momentum he's had as of late to get closer and closer to victory here, and he could close in on it right now. Styles, phenomenal forearm to Joe. But once again, he becomes aware that he can't win this. He's sharing the ring with McIntyre. And he has to try and get rid of him before he can get before he can win this one. McIntyre pushes Styles away, and a big shoulder tackle there. Styles rolls out of the ring. This is disastrous for him. Joe is busted open. McIntyre, future shock DDT, rolls through into the cover on Joe. Two. Oh my goodness. Busted open and still able to kick out is Samoa Joe. That is what makes him as tough as he is. That's what sets him apart from so many others. Don't give up your back to Joe. You'll pay for it. And here comes the trifecta of suplexes. German, Dragon, and straight jacket. Beautiful. Nailed them all on the money, and McIntyre could be out here. Styles, though, in to make the save. These two men are not finished with one another. Look at the blood that seeps down the face of Samoa Joe. That is because of that man right there, and he's going to make him pay for it. Joe now. Joe has him. Muscle buster to Styles. McIntyre, he ain't getting up to his feet. Joe's pinning McIntyre here. Why? Why? Pin Styles. This has been a high-octane main event. And Samoa Joe could have won it there, but is instead continuing to go after Drew McIntyre here. Another cover on him. Meanwhile, AJ Styles hasn't moved an inch since that muscle buster. What was going through his mind? It was a stupid mistake there by Samoa Joe. AJ Styles now getting up to his feet. And to be fair, Drew McIntyre is still getting the piss knocked out of him. Overhead powerbomb, and he rolls out of the ring here. This leaves these two men alone once again, because that's just what they need to be. After everything we've seen, big clubbering blow into the back there. DDT follow-up. Styles holding him in the open wound. Styles looked for something. Joe denied it. Joe now. Big time Uranagi slam. And look who's in to stop this one from ending. Drew McIntyre again in with the save. Oh my God, right for the German suplex. Great counter there by Joe. And here goes Joe now. Side dropping powerbomb there. And McIntyre's return to the ring didn't go the way he planned it, I imagine. Joe looked a little bit tired there, but into another cover on McIntyre, hoping it's enough for victory. Drew is telling him he can go shove it if he thinks he's going to get the win off that. I think whoever hits the next finishing maneuver is probably going to win this one. The blood that drops down the face of Samoa Joe tells a story. And the wear and tear from McIntyre and Joe tells one in itself. Joe now, cover on McIntyre as Styles slips out of the ring. And again, back to these leg trap elbows into the head. If he's looking for the Coquina clutch, I think he's got a very strong case of making him tap out. But McIntyre, hard-headed, tough as he is, he won't give in to it. Forearm shot, though, by Joe now. He looks for something that McIntyre is able to get himself out of. Big lariat there. And as Styles recovers on the outside, what else could we see? Looking for something else again there. And Joe able to pull out of a counter of his own. Belly to belly. Great reversal. by McIntyre. That was a great back and forth by both men there. Styles in position. Styles clash. Styles clash to McIntyre. Sorry, to Joe. McIntyre though. The Luther's press to Styles. He's going to steal the pin right underneath him. Cover here on Joe. 1, 2. Oh my God. Drew McIntyre wins this one, stealing the pin from AJ Styles. And you know what? Just what we saw here tonight, it could happen at the Rumble. It could absolutely take place at the Royal Rumble. And if Drew McIntyre did the very same thing here tonight, after watching the Styles Clash being hit and then pin Samoa Joe, he'd become the ECW champion, and Seth Rollins wouldn't even need to be involved in the decision. Overlook Drew McIntyre no more. Ignore this man no more. He was the true #1 contender for a reason, and he has put every other man in that match on notice. Seth Rollins may well have been watching this one backstage, but he cannot ignore the fact that Drew McIntyre is here with anger and with vengeance. He wants that ECW championship, and he will stop at nothing to get it. 1 man, 2 man, 3 men, hell, even throw in 6. He doesn't care. Drew McIntyre wants that title. But what he has managed to do, I imagine, is piss off AJ Styles, and in turn, piss off Samoa Joe. But I think Drew McIntyre at this stage, he doesn't care. All he wants is that ECW championship around his waist, and we'll see how we close things out before the Royal Rumble next week, before this huge fatal 4-way match. Drew McIntyre, your winner here on a hectic episode of ECW. Be sure to tune in next week when the Cruiserweight title is defended, the ECW Tag Team titles are defended, and we see how we go into the Royal Rumble and who the favourite could be to win this title. That'll end this episode of Universe. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, guys, and ta-ra.